My name is Jenny, and in case you're new here, I am a visual artist working in quilts, mixed media quilts, which means that I paint on them, I stitch on them, I do photo transfer to make fine art quilts that hang on the wall. And I have been doing an initiative for the last month, it's currently November of 2020, to explore sketchbooks. So the hashtag on Instagram is Explore Sketch November, and I just was so fascinated by so many different artists that I've been following and seeing how they use their sketchbooks in different ways. And I've been really examining my own use of sketchbooks, notebooks, planners, etc. So that's kind of what this video is. This video is kind of condensing the different posts I've been sharing on my stories and in my Instagram grid over the last month of November, and just talking about them in kind of a more concise place so you can kind of get all that information in one place rather than looking through stories. But if there's anything that I talk about today that you want more information about or want to see more about, you can go into my highlights on my Instagram profile, and you will be able to see there everything that I've saved from the 30 days of Explore Sketch November. So I want to chat to you about, it's kind of informal, I don't have a huge plan here. So what I'll probably do is talk you through a few things. I'll probably do some cutaways to show you some spreads and things like that. But as of right now in my art career, so 20 years out of art school, but 10 years into making art that I am showing in galleries, that I am putting up for sale, that I am using in projects, etc. My sketchbook has really been mostly a place of recording ideas and to keep them in a place where I can come back to them when I'm ready to create. It's been a bit of a place to shove imagery or things that I find inspiring, and I've also used sketchbooks to kind of record my travels around the world over the years. So in terms of sketchbooks, those are my kind of main uses. I also use a day planner, and I also use a notebook. And so my notebooks are a little bit different. I use them in a bit of a different capacity than I do with my sketchbooks. Although if I only have one of them with me and I need to write something in a sketchbook or I need to draw something in a notebook, I will do that as well. So you can see some examples of that today. I'm amazed when I see other artists and how they use their sketchbooks, and artists that make their work in sketchbooks. So they use their sketchbooks as their mixed media palettes, and then they scan that work into the computer and create different prints or stickers or whatever they're going to make from their artwork that way. Certainly not a way that I've been used to working, but something that I've, like I said, found very inspiring and kind of challenging the way that I am going to make, and making me think through the process a little bit more and wonder about how I can maybe use some of these techniques in my own work. So I want to talk first about this big sketchbook. I don't even know what brand this is. I'm so bad with, I don't even think this has a branding information in it. It doesn't. But I bought this at the beginning of art school. So this is my big confession today, that I've had this sketchbook since my first year of university, and it's still not full. I'm just getting it full now. And that's because I have substituted in other sketchbooks. I have used random pieces of paper. I have, this has gone through quite a transformation over the years. So first of all, the cover, I've just started in the last few years adding these stickers to my cover, and because I'm nearing the end of this sketchbook, I should be buying a new one very soon. I've been starting to collect stickers that I like that I'm going to be putting on my new sketchbook cover, so I'm really excited about that. But I love art quilts. This is SAQA. This is Studio Art Quilt Associates. This is an association I belong to that promotes art quilts, and I've been a participatory volunteer and done many things with them, so that's why I put that on here. This is a novel by Starhawk, City of Refuge. It's a sequel to the Fifth Sacred Thing. Probably my favorite fantasy book ever, these two. And so this came, I pre-ordered the second book and the sticker came with it. This is for Ocean. This is a great organization that makes bracelets out of recycled plastic. And they donate the partial proceeds from their bracelets to animal conservation in the ocean. So the bracelet that I bought was a black one, and that was for sharks. And Sub Pop is a record label, pretty famous record label based out of Seattle. And this one is Artist Mother. So Artist Mother podcast is a podcast I listen to, I really love. It is a community for artists who also are mothers, and it's just a great place to share your work, but also learn about other mothers and how they're putting their world together. So that's my cover of my sketchbook, and inside I still have lots of loose things. So this is the aesthetic of me in the late 1990s when I started art school. So it has certainly changed over the years. I did a lot of this kind of combined collage drawing when I was first working in here. Obviously we did a lot of life drawings. So I would kind of do the life drawings in class, and then I would elaborate on them afterwards and create these different patterns with collage. So, this is the beginnings of my sketchbook. And all through art school, I used it pretty regularly, I would say. And then we got to post-art school where I was leaving, and I had all these artist postcards and cards from friends and that I wanted to preserve, so I used those in here. Like inspiring images that I put in. And then we kind of start hitting on what I've been using the sketchbook for since I started reusing it. So in between this sketchbook, there were other ones, and I will show you a couple of those. But I started writing out ideas. I started, using it in a different way more regularly. And I often look back on this stuff just to kind of remind me of who I was at that time and what I was trying to accomplish. I don't think the point for me in this book was that all these ideas were going to be realized, but more that I was getting them out so that more ideas could come through. And sometimes I do go back and complete things, and I'll show you a few examples of that. You can see here some references. So these are drawings and printouts that I was using for referencing shapes of different things. Always nature, so always kind of putting nature in here and there. I've been developing a body of work since 2014, and this is the next body of work that I'm going to be doing. So 6 years it has been going through my head, and so all of that is documented in this book specifically. My plan for that body of work is to actually photocopy out these pages from my sketchbook and mount them on the wall or something like that and start mapping out this work, because it's really extensive. I would say there's probably at least 20 pieces by now in it, and I haven't really worked on building it beyond putting it in here and writing things out and drawing really simple designs. And so what I need to do is really get to that and get to working it out, because it needs more development outside of this space now. Well, as I said before, in between using this big guy, I was using these little simple sketchbooks. This is definitely not the format that I prefer, the spiral bound at the top. I don't think I would buy these again for myself. But what is great about these is that they are lighter, and they're just, you know, easy to rip a page out if you want to, I guess. So you can see here, there's research and drawings included in here. But the main piece this is one of the ones I shared. This is just a sketch I was doing. There's a lot, again, so many ideas that never really went anywhere. You know, just fun drawings, trying things out. I have kept this book now. This is from 2004. So this was a dream that I had. And in that dream, I saw this piece very clearly delineated, I believe. And so this is the next piece I'm going to be working on. I may just rip this out, put it into this one, and recycle this. I feel like as artists, it's really good to see where you've come from and look at the past and the things you drew and try to, you know, remember some ideas, but others I find remind you of a direction you were going that you turned away from. And this sketchbook has a lot of those images in it for me. And there's nothing wrong with them, and I still think that they're important, but I just don't know how necessary it is for me to keep this book. I find I live in a small space. Space is always at a premium. You just don't want to be keeping something that is, you know, taking up room and you don't actually need it around. So I may have a look through this book, pull out anything else like this one that I feel has potential to become something more, and then just recycle the rest of the contents of it. Okay, so my last sketchbook I wanted to show you is this one, which is my current travel sketchbook. So again, I picked up this sticker when I was in Tofino. Mermaid Tales is the little bookshop there. And this one begins with my trip to South Africa in 2005. So I wanted obviously a smaller sketchbook to take with us to South Africa. I did do a little bit of journaling in here, but not a huge amount. And this is very thick paper. I you know, to be honest, I didn't even really think about what kind of paper sketchbooks had before when I was buying them. I just didn't pay attention to those things. I certainly didn't when I picked this one out. This one has very thick paper. I think it's probably watercolor paper. So I did a lot of just gluing in souvenir type stuff from the trip for South Africa. I don't think I did any drawings in South Africa. And then it jumps to 2016 when we were in France, in Montpellier. So this was just a little sketch of the first Airbnb we were staying in, and then like the little park that was near where we would go. I've posted about this one on Instagram. So this is a statue that's in a section of Montpellier. And, you know, I continued to, you know, just play around and sketch different things wherever we happened to be. And that was the end of my France sketches. Jug Island, this is, you know, an area we like to hike out to, and then Peggy's Cove in Nova Scotia. And I've posted about how my sons, we all did a drawing of the lighthouse when we were sitting out there at Peggy's Cove, so that was great. And then I actually took this with me as well one day to the VAG, and I did some sketching of Giacometti statues. So just just simple, just little things. I think I posted about this, so just doing some nature drawings. This is really just, you know, just practicing and just kind of trying things out and not being precious at all. But like I said, this paper is very thick, so doing watercolor on here is not really a problem. And I will continue to fill this one. It really doesn't have any direction. Obviously, we're not traveling anywhere right now. So I did bring this with me to Tofino, for example, but I never sketched anything. So my motivation waxes and wanes for sketching when I'm traveling and in general. And I would like to develop more of a sketching practice. So that is kind of also the motivation behind this project for me, was to inspire, like, get the juices flowing, and then really try to bring sketchbooks and more drawing, more practicing, more experimenting into my practice. So I think that's going to be a goal for 2021, and I haven't really figured out how I'm going to make that happen yet, but you know, it all comes together eventually. Okay, I'm going to talk about my notebooks now. This was the first one I did this in, and this was while I was still in university as well. So playing around with, you know, different artists that I was studying at the time. This is Anna Mendieta. And notes. So when I was doing research, I would write it out by hand in these notebooks. Forgive me, it's the late 90s. I mean, it's, I don't know. That's just how I rolled. I still do that though. I still do it because when I'm collecting information, when I want to write something, an artist statement, an essay, I've also written articles about art, so I will often do research that way. This is the best way to organize my brain, is to write it out and map it out and cross things off, and just like, it's just the way I can get it to work for me. So this was really the beginning, and I keep this one. I don't know if I'll ever refer back to this information, but I can't bring myself to let go of it yet. So for now, you know, I'm just keeping it and I'm just moving through, and we'll see what happens to it in the future. But this was the beginning of my notebooks. It evolved into a smaller format. This is my preferred format now. I've used this one so much that I've lost my cover, and I forgot to bring up my newest one, but that's the one I worked on at my last Instagram live. So if you're over on Instagram and you want to watch that, watch me collage with fabric on the cover of a notebook. That is in my IGTV. My Instagram is Jenny Johnston Artist. So this one has lots of notes, lots of different drawings I've done that are taped in here. Again, collage, different things. And I did actually just see, when I was flipping through it earlier, a little sketch that I forgot was in here. And I think what was happening that day was that I only had this book, and so I did the sketch in this book. Like, here's a sketch. This is Hygienia, which is my favorite Gustav Klimt painting, which doesn't really exist anymore. It was a mural, but there's images of it. And she's this persona has inspired a lot of work I've done around my own self-portraiture. Here's a little meadowlark that I did one day. So again, like, this is not a sketchbook, but somehow it has sketches in it. And this is, again, I don't know how often I'm going to use this book, but for now I'm keeping it. And there's potential that I will, you know, go back to some of this research, although I tend now to just look it up online if I'm wanting to reference something. But, you know, this is the one I finished this year, and I started a new one. And this one is purely notes. So notes, lists, there's tabs in here to reference certain things. I write quotes in here sometimes. I just organize my thought process and how to get through whatever project I'm working on. So, you know, when I was doing my artist residency, I used this a lot to like write out things, statements, different things like that. So those are my notebooks. And I think that I could just do all this in a sketchbook, except I think the lined paper is just more conducive to that for me. And this one I did collage as well. So I did collage with different images from magazines in this one. So finally, just want to talk to you about my planner. And the reason that I want to talk to you about it is because I feel like it is so important towards my life. I posted about this earlier this week in my Explore Sketch stories, and one of my best friends wrote to me saying how she feels chained to her planner, like her planner is like, you know, pulling her down, and it controls her in a way. And you know, there's a lot you can unpack with a statement like that, but for me, what this book, it doesn't feel like it's tied to me. It feels instead more like it is something that helps me breathe easier. I use this for both home life, art life, and my part-time job at the museum. So this has everything in it. And I do sometimes use my notebooks for to-do lists that relate specifically to my art practice and to things that I'm trying to accomplish. For instance, in my new planner or my new notebook, I made a list for this week of things I wanted to accomplish because I am not working at the museum this week, and I wanted to really try to optimize the time that I had at home. So, you know, my week is laid out in a weekly layout. And when I write in red, that is my museum tasks. It's a little bit better, I think, if you see it a regular week, not a week when I'm off. So you see everything in red is for in the museum. Everything in black or blue is home. And I use this, like I said, all the time. I have all these notes at the back. And I also use this like really fun section here, which is actually about expenses and money tracking, but I don't use it for that. I use it for my reading. So all my books are laid out each month, and I cross off how many I've read and what categories they go in, and that's where I keep track of them. There's also pockets in here, so you can see I have some art from some of my, this is Lee Ellickson's art. She is a vlogger and YouTube artist that I follow. So I just got some of her art that I'm excited to put into my new sketchbook. So that's my planner, and it's, you know, I just ordered my new one today, which is always a very exciting time of year. This is a Polestar Calendars who create this one, and this is their business agenda. They also have a family planner and a student planner and like different just regular style planners. This is made from paper that is sourced sustainably, and it is published and printed in Canada. This is a local BC company. So that is my sketchbook video. I hope you found it interesting and found some things in there that maybe made you think about your own practice and using your own sketchbooks or journals or notebooks. I don't really consistently journal. I have kept journals and diaries over the years, but that's not something like a writing practice is not something that I'm actively seeking to pursue right now. And I think that's because with limited time, you really have to hone in on the things that are more important to you. And for me right now, I would rather be drawing more than writing more. And so that's where I'm going with that. That could change obviously in the future. I may shift more into writing than drawing, but for 2021, I really want to be drawing more consistently and I'm really excited to purchase a new sketchbook because there's something about getting a new book that's always so inspiring and exciting, and finishing this one off in the next few weeks. So thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much if you've been participating in Explore Sketch November. I am excited to, come up with new things to share over Instagram. I think it's a great place to try these new things and engage with my followers. And if you have anything you'd like to share about your sketchbook practice or anything like that, or your journaling, or how you use a planner. I know that bullet journals are super popular, and that's just not a style that I've gotten into, but I do really enjoy looking at other people's bullet journals. Then I would be happy to talk about that with you in the comments down below, and I will be back again soon with another video. Thanks so much for watching.